Welcome back to the Bad Blood Podcast, people. On today's episode, we've got a special guest from Florida, and we've also got a special guest from sunny Stoke, Nathan, Charles Russo from America. How are you guys?
Yeah, so thank you.
Good, man, good. As always, we're brought to you by Spartan BK FightClub, the biggest and most exciting bare knuckle boxing organisation in the world. We are ready to take over. Big news happening. We've just announced it. We're going to have Mark the Hand of God be out on our podcast along with Tyler Goodjohn and the boss man Christian Roberts. So watch out for that. Also, Mr. Bloom's Black Seed Oil Mechanics, another fantastic product. Big product, like life-changing, really is got life-changing products in. Take a look at their Facebook page, head over there and have a look.
On my side, we've got ScotWest Shellfish, big addition to our team. Couldn't be any more grateful. Heathen Clothing, Sean, thanks for joining the team, my pal. And as always, the Governor Sports and Nutrition, Steve Stone. Cheers, mate.
Right, guys, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Sound? I'm good.
Charles, how are you?
Charles?
Is he still on?
Is he still on?
I'm still here. I'm going to sign on to my laptop.
Yes.
It's a bad connection for some reason with this, so I'm going to sign on to the laptop, make it hopefully be a little easier. So I'll sign off and sign right back on if that's all right with y'all.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries at all.
Okay.
Nathan, it's up to you, buddy. How's things?
Yeah, steady, mate. You obviously can't really do much, can you, during all this palaver that's going on with COVID? It's
Ruthless, isn't it, buddy?
honestly, it's driving me absolutely insane.
Nice, yeah.
I've had to move just to change it up in my flat. I've had to move, keep my PlayStation in my living room and move my Fire Stick into my bedroom just so I can change it up.
Yeah. Obviously, this is what the government probably don't really truly care about, but we've also had mental health problems, and if we've managed to flip that and be stronger people for it. But sometimes these people who aren't as strong as us, not just saying that we're special, like somebody who's managed to elevate the thinking to a different way, some people struggle with that, don't they? We've got to start changing and start to have a change in what we're going to do.
Yeah, massively. It's like, like a friend of mine at Christ. I wonder if I've known him. I wonder if I've known Bazzy. But I'd known Bazzy 9 years. First lockdown, he obviously tried killing himself. Then he got admitted into the Harplands, which is the mental health ward here in Stoke. Got released the next day. Said he was all right. He went back and he went live on Facebook and killed himself.
Oh.
That's just due to the mental health. Obviously, everyone's mental health. He suffered for years, but the mental health system didn't help him at all. But like, it's good because us three are quite close. So obviously, even though we're loads of miles away, we keep in touch quite often. So we're always there for each other. It's like Matty, when you've had a bit of a wobble.
Nightmare last year, like.
Yeah, when you had a bit of a wobble, I was straight on the end of the phone.
Oh, 100% by my side. And I couldn't be any more appreciative for that, actually, Nathan. Because, like, that was the times where the gyms got shut, everything got shut, and probably the gym is everything to me. Even though I've got now, the gym is my place of little happiness. It's my little piece of heaven, if you know what I'm saying. And then it just felt like everything was taken, and then, just everything come crashing down. But you've just got to get back on the horse.
Well, yeah, I'm in exactly the same boat. Don't get me wrong, I'm a professional boxer, so I've still been able to train. But for the first 3 months of lockdown, honestly, I felt like I was getting loco because I was like, I don't know what to do. I was sat in the living room, freaking eating salty caramel ice cream at midday. I'm like, what am I doing? Just stuff like that. But like you say, boxing is my safe place. It's my escape, my therapy.
I see that it is having a massive effect on other amateur boxers and like people that can't get into the gyms, because I've got like loads of amateur boxers on Facebook. I've got loads of coaches and that, And I've seen like good, promising amateur lads hanging up the gloves and that because they kind of get back into the gym or they're fading out more, and that's heartbreaking to see just by itself, to be honest.
Exactly. And then on the flip side, it's good for professional boxing because the people that have dropped out of professional boxing because obviously, you know, they're only in small hall shows or what have you. There's also people that were amateur because they can't get in the gym. They're turning pro so they can get back in the gym.
I've seen a lot of that.
He's like 6-1 off a dozen. The other's like, I was the only pro in my gym and now we've got 5 in the space of 3 months.
See, we've just started actually putting a bit of training in for this last week and a half, 2 weeks myself. We've got, obviously, all socially distanced at a good space. But,
of course. And thank you, Steve Stone, for the protein.
And Governor Sports, watch out for them. But we've picked up, honestly, it's a good little group. And do you know what? The guy who's been actually coming and showing me a bit of Muay Thai, Johnny Chat, shout out to you, my fella.
Big shout, Johnny.
Savage, absolute killer, bro. It's been helping him as well, you know what I mean? He's suffered mental health problems and he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Bringing them all together. And this is what the government need to start doing. They need to start opening gyms. They need to start opening boxing clubs again. They need to get the ball rolling because people are struggling.
Right, they're keeping gyms shut and they're the most sanitised places in the country. There and tattoo parlours. It's daft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Daft. But it's it does matter.
At the end of the day, virus or not, if you're not wiping your gym down and cleaning your gym, you're not looking after it. Simple as that.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know,
all the lads pitch in and tidy the gym, man.
Oh, see, when we go to the gym, we always wipe down his gloves and stuff.
Yeah,
always wipe down his gloves. Obviously, I don't have to because I use my own, so
yeah,
because I'm lazy. But yeah, like I say, my anxiety. To be fair, my anxiety's been through the roof. My depression hasn't been too bad. It's more my anxiety, the feeling of the unknown. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't know what's going to happen next, and that. So I've been obviously one of my sponsors, NuHempCBD. They're absolutely top quality stuff. They are banging.
Really?
I was dead skeptical about CBD. I thought, nah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. They sent me a bottle of the 500 milligram, and within a week, 2 weeks, I usually live on about 3.5, 4 hours sleep. I got 7.5 hours sleep, and I was like, "Oh my god, this feels amazing."
Honestly, the boys go back. Sorry.
I need to get some more off them, but I don't want to yet until I know what's going on with my medical, so I'm kind of holding back. Yeah. So, NuHemp, I do apologise. It's nothing against you. It's like literally, I don't want to take something off someone or have something off someone if I get told I can't ever box again. It's not fair.
Yeah. And the guys over there are really, really nice people. I speak to them. I was only speaking to them not too long ago. The guys are fantastic. They were only starting when we were starting. I believe they were around a little bit earlier. But they've progressed majorly. Honestly, they really have.
Took off, smashing it.
Well, it's like if you can get in touch with them for me.
Yeah.
You know, and just let them know about my situation because I don't like saying it because it upsets me.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm let down. So if you could let them know for me, just let me know the crack.
Definitely.
You know, that'd be fantastic, honestly, because. Like I say, it's all up in the air. I don't know when Biden's going to allow all this, when we can travel. I don't know. It's all...
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to come on to next, really. The last time we spoke on Zoom, stupid here, forgot to record it. So we went in an in-depth chat about the medical side of what's been happening. Now, we spoke on the phone before we were actually on the podcast and doing the interview that one of the sponsors had pulled out as well. And that was one of the guys who actually covered the medical bill side. Could you talk through more of that again, please?
My medical, basically, so is Charles in the conversation now?
No, I can double check. Not yet, no. It should, it would come up if you bear with us.
Yeah, so no problem.
Right, that's sent over, Nathan, so we'll see it on the screen if he does come and whatnot.
Yeah, so basically, because Charles is observing in America, he's in deep conversation, and he's got quite. It seems like he's got quite a good alliance. I don't know because I keep out the business side. I get punched in the head, so there's no point in me keeping on about it. But as far as I know, he's speaking to, if I'm right, WBC, IBO, IBF, WBA, and WBO, I think. And basically, obviously, they've checked over everyone's medicals. Now, because I was a Bieber fighter and they aren't very well looked upon, Charles will probably go into that side. Is he in?
I think he should be coming. I think he's in. Are you there, Charles?
Oh, this fucking head. I'm not. Am I allowed to curse?
Yes, Charles, my man.
Yes, Charles.
I got to get used to the. When I go on interviews, I got to ask permission usually if I can curse or not. So.
Of course you can curse. Curse away, my brother.
I had a headache. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize to all three of you.
No, it's all right.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
We're all chilled out. We're all friends here. We're all good.
Good. Very good.
How have you been keeping, Charles, anyway?
I'm doing good. Just, last week's meetings in Texas were rough. Not what we wanted to hear. But, I mean, we have to follow what's going on right now with COVID. And there's so many restrictions globally. It's not even just here in the States. It's just making things tough.
How tough are things, Charles? Because obviously with the administration changing, it's got to make things ultimately 10 times difficult.
I'd rather get my teeth pulled with no Novocaine. That's how rough it's been.
Yeah, I could imagine. How is in your point of view, is things changing for the worse?
Well, right now, because we're a global organization, we're a global union, a lot of fight cards that you're seeing that are going off, they're using boxers in their country of origin.
Right.
Or, they're using boxers that are there already.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fight cards that you see in the United States, but if you look at the fight cards, like the ones that were on PBC Fox the other night, they're all American fighters.
Yeah.
They weren't fighters, they were Mexican because they're connecting governments.
It was,
first of all, the card was fucking horrible. But anyways, the problem isn't getting the boxers here to the United States. The problem is
getting them back.
The card's finished, getting them back.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the re-entry, getting back into their country. Some of them have a waiting list that's going on for over a month. We still have a boxer in Vegas that's been here since November, can't get back to Australia.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch upon, Charles, because you know what I don't get? The work that you and the team's putting in, right? And then it's the cost, obviously, having to send them back. But what happens if you have 10, 15, 20 fighters in quarantine? That's a massive bill, man. That's a huge bill.
The average cost, like, first of all, the guy that's in Vegas that's been here since November trying to get back to Australia,
mm-hmm.
That is, you can't even put a price tag on that because he's still waiting on the waiting list to go back.
Yeah.
The average cost that we would have, say Nathan was to come over here to fight on a fight card, mm-hmm. He would have to spend 3 to 5 days on a UK government issued hotel near the airport. He has to pass 3 mandatory COVID tests.
Right.
It's at your own expense.
Wow.
And when it comes to the States, it's mandatory 10 to 14 days quarantine at your own expense.
Right.
And then to go back, it's reversed. It's 10 days quarantine. Got to take the COVID test. Then when you go back there, it's their quarantine at 14 days where you got to pay it yourself.
Yeah.
In a quarantine hotel. You got to pay for all these things. It's roughly about $16,000 to $25,000 per boxer just on the COVID aspects of it.
Wow,
Jesus Christ.
That is a nightmare.
That is a lot of work.
Right. More than big in the purses.
Wow. Would you say, Charles, that if obviously, do you think if Trump had won that second term, do you think things would have been pushed through a lot quicker, smoother?
100%.
100%.
I mean, Trump had a very strict COVID entry into the borders,
mm-hmm.
but it's nowhere near what the Biden administration is doing. because these new strands are coming out, like the South African strand, the Brazilian strand, the China strand, a second one. Then we have the UK strand that's very deadly. These strands are actually having all governments being extra cautious. You can't blame them, but at the same time, wash your fucking hands. Piss. After you take a piss, wash your hands. After you sneeze, but
I don't know whether you've heard or not, Charles. This in the UK, they're on about doing door-to-door COVID tests now down in the south of England.
I've heard
due to the South African strain.
Yep, I've heard of this. I heard we have a couple of boxers. Like we just flew in 2 boxers that were already on our March card. We actually flew them in and we paid for them to come here. And it just so happens that they're coming here anyway to spend 6 months here training for multiple fights. So we got lucky with having them come here when we did. We had one show up on Friday and we had one come from Germany on Sunday.
Right.
So we got lucky with those 2. Now we have a couple other boxers we're trying to get over here. And it's just a headache. And are we willing to spend all this money to get boxers over here to get their licensing done the right way, get their fight cards done the right way, get them the perks that they deserve? Is it worth it to do 12 boxers that way when we can do 1, 2, 3 at a time? It might be safer for us right now. And financially,
It is. Because if you save money now, that means it's there for the future. You know what I mean? For when things are in place, then you can kick on from there. We're a little bit similar in what we've been doing over here in the bare knuckle world. We've been plodding along, keep on ticking away. We've been ridiculed ourselves because obviously we don't have safety like at first, but that's far from the truth. We've got everybody's benefits at like it's basically
it is as professional as
it's as professional as it gets. The work ethic, what you're doing in the team, in the union to get where you are during the pandemic, it's still a testament to your works. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you. The board deserves a lot of respect, and members like Nathan deserve a lot of respect that stuck with us. Because let's not forget that elephant in the room with those 2 lowlifes that I've been dealing with legally, and they're going to be shut down quick. Trust me when I'm telling you.
You get them everywhere, Charles. Honestly, Charles, with success comes hate.
Oh, of course. I don't listen. If they're talking bad about me and fabricating stories, I must be doing something fucking right. That's the way I look at it.
100%. Jealousy gets nowhere.
But I came on this interview because one of the things, we're not just about fight cards. We just had our fight card out in Nepal. What a great fight card it was. I think there was 8 matches.
Congratulations on that as well.
Yeah, it was a great fight card. We put a lot of time into it, a lot of effort. Max, our Nepalian vice president, really did a lot of work, and the board was there with him the entire time. But we're not just about endorsing fight cards. We're about correcting the sport. Protecting boxers is where I became friends with Nathan, is that Nathan's a human being first. If he doesn't have his health and he doesn't have answers in regards to his health, why am I worried about him getting in the ring if he's not healthy?
Yeah.
My theory is, like I said the other day on one of my posts, you can't go buy a car if there's no good cars on a car lot. You're not going to buy a good steak if you don't have good cows. You're not going to go to a good fight card if there's no good boxers.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Ourselves as a human being is what we're concerned about. Everybody thinks that we're doing fight cards and that's what the union is about. That's not what we're about. We're about protecting boxers like Nathan, like the ones that we brought over from different countries so we can sit there and guide them in the right direction. Getting people away from that piece of shit association out there in the UK. These are the things we're about. We're about protecting the boxers. That's it. We don't make money off of fight cards. We endorse them. We spend a lot of money on them, but we endorse these cards to make sure they follow the laws.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, Charles. Obviously, you're in talks with the Big Five, which is WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, IBO. Is that right?
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah. Now, obviously, a lot of boxers' medicals got pulled up, didn't they?
A lot of boxers' medicals got withdrawn. I'm going to say this, and I don't care because it's already we're already fighting in the investigation. There's only so much I can say legally because of what we're doing to that association. a lot of those medicals that came from that association were fraudulent. They were fake medicals. We wound up going backwards. We wound up taking 2 steps forward to take 5 backwards because we trusted them. And it kind of sucks. And they know it. They know they got fake medicals. We have 16 separate boxers that gave us emails from these individuals stating, I can get you a medical for $50. Wow. 50 pounds, I'm sorry. So, there's a lot of boxers. One of them is, he's a board member and he's a boxer. We had to do a lot for him, that we had to sit there and renew his medicals like what we're doing, getting him into a different license and get away from that bullshit that he was in that organization.
Same with me as well, isn't it, Charles?
Yeah, what we're doing for Nathan. I mean, I don't know if Nathan has given you guys information. I'll let Nathan explain to you what we're doing for Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what Charles is doing is, obviously, because my medical's been pulled up, I failed my MRI brain scans, oh God, when was it, back in 2012? Then I went to, so they said I've got an anomaly on my brain, so I went to the NHS. They said that, obviously, to go see consultants. They all said I've got what could be a carcinoma. They weren't 100% certain. I've sent Charles the paperwork, but they said it could be carcinoma, which is like a raspberry cluster of blood vessels on the brain,
right,
where the lining around the blood vessels is just slightly thinner, where it could leak blood.
Right.
Now, I've been doing quite a bit of reading up on it the past couple of weeks, and basically, if it's never bled, which mine hasn't because I've had symptoms, the chance of it ever bleeding is between 0.2 and 3%.
Right.
Chance of it bleed. Obviously, if it's bled before, the percentage go up, the more bleed you've had. But I have also been looking into it because there is actually non-invasive procedures that can be done to obviously get the carcinoma removed or made dormant to stop it from ever bleeding.
Right.
But obviously, where Charles is coming is obviously my manager, God bless him, Paul Piers, he's part of the board, got in touch with Charles, told it, obviously, Charles and Paul had a good conversation. Now, Charles has agreed to fly me over to America, all expenses paid, and pay for my medicals for me as well. But not only that, but to get me to go see professionals, well, specialists, should I say, first of all, make sure I'm healthy and well, which I am, because I've been punched in the head for the past 17 years and I've never had any kind of blip or nothing. I've been punched by heavier guys. And then obviously after that, to see if I'm able to box. Now, I think Charles has been told this a little bit by Paul, but I actually spoke to the British Boxing Board the other day to ask him if this was ever challenged by my manager 9 years ago. And they said no, but they personally sent off my scans to other specialists.
Right.
And they deemed it that I wasn't able to box on a British license.
That's correct.
But when they say they deemed that, they said to me, well, what I was told was some said yes, some said no. So they come to the conclusion, because it was obviously 50-50, that I shouldn't box, which me personally, I don't see as fair. You've got to get something where you've got to have something in concrete to make a decision like that, to take someone's livelihood away from them. Now, I should have done this years ago, but years ago, people like Charles weren't around, and to help me out, and I can't thank Charles enough. I actually got told about 4 days before Christmas that I'd failed my medicals, and I actually rung you the same day, Lee, and I had a bit of a cry on the phone to Charles, Paul, and my coach. And do you know what? Honestly, I've been looking for someone for the past 8-9 years to help me out, and Charles is the only man. Well, Paul. Charles, Paul, and my coach, Andy, are the only people that have ever helped me out. Everybody else forgot about me and just brushed me under the carpet. And
behind you now, man. Yes.
Of course.
Got the team behind you now, man, bro.
I've got good people around me, and honestly, I don't think Charles can kind of get the concept of the magnitude of what this means to me. I've been looking for a break, and that man has just thrown me a massive lifeline. And now, obviously, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to box again or not, but I've already spoke to Paul, and I've put things in place. Well, I've set up my next goal just in case. It'd be my goal if I'd retire from boxing. Well, once I'd retired from anyway. But if I'm forced to retire, then that is just going to be pulled forward. Do you know what I mean? So I've put things in place. That's why I'm handling it quite well, because I know what I need to do or what I'm going to do. So it's just one of them. So I just want to thank you again, Charles.
And we got your back 100%, no matter what. But now what's great about this is that you'll have answers, Nathan. And
yes,
we're going to be back behind you, supporting you, whatever route you take, because you're with us, period. End of conversation. Because without that human being, we don't have boxers. So your health comes first. I told you that when we spoke privately.
Yes, you did. Now, obviously, what breaks my heart more than anything is about 12 months ago, my old coach, when I went for turn pro the first time, saw me and he said, listen, we had someone asking about you the other day, saying it was a travesty when I didn't get my license. At the time, I was 9 stone 4. I was a super featherweight. And he said, obviously, where do you think Nathan will get? And this coach said, all the way. And this bloke assumed British title.
Mm.
And when obviously my coach goes, no, he goes, I mean world title. I was sparring, at the time I was sparring the likes of Anthony Cronger, Terry Flanagan. I was sparring all them, all these that won world titles, and I was putting them on the backside. And I was 2 weight classes lighter than them.
Wow.
So to get the help now is just I can't, it's just overwhelming. I can't get the words out, and I'm never usually lost for words.
Testament to your perseverance that it's paying off now, that you're going to get some answers.
Yeah, I think me personally, so I know I'm not a massively religious person, but I do think there's always someone upstairs that's got something planned out for you. And I do think it is part of God's plan. To either stall things or to say, listen, this may not be the route for you. It might be this route or this route. At least time will tell. It's just when Biden pulls his finger out and lets us in America, and Boris pulls his frigging finger out and stops fucking about.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Sorry, Charles.
That's the whole thing. We got to get the governments to get on the same page with us. I mean, we wasted. We're in the process of canceling our March card. Not canceling, that's the wrong word. Postponing it, because we have 4 world titles, 3 intercontinental titles, 3 international titles, and 5 regional titles just on this one card. And I'm talking about with the big 5. I'm not talking about with the smaller associations. These are the big 5 that give us these titles. And we're about to lose about $100,000 just postponing this fight. People don't realize behind the scenes, all the money, the engineers, the architects, the sound people, the insurance, the deposits that we gave people, the airline tickets that we paid for boxers already. We don't get that money back.
Production expenses, everything. When you dip into that pot, you have ultimately got to find some source of funds or sponsorship to try and recoup that. And that is very, very hard when you're relying basically on the sale of tickets. You know what I mean? It's very, very hard to recoup. That is why over here at the moment, small hall boxing is dead. You know what I mean?
March, if that's right, isn't it? Was that March?
It just
March.
Even during the first lockdown, there was just no way. Like if you're paying for a venue alone over here, like a small hall, York Hall, you're talking 20 grand just to hire the place. You know what I mean?
I was told it costs for a British Boxing Board show. Mind you, this was like 9 years ago. But for a British Boxing Board show, I think with 8 fights on it, costs between £24,000 and £28,000 for a small hall.
I was talking to Steve Goodwin of Goodwin Promotions in the first lockdown, and he said you're even looking 20 grand down just for a venue slot before you even do anything. And that's today's terms, you know what I mean? So if you're not guaranteed audience for them to come in, or even on a restricted audience, even if you want to put the link on the pay-per-view link and reduce the price, you're not guaranteed for the hardcore boxing fans or the casual fan to buy that. So you're taking a risk through further expenses that way as well. Hence to why Charles is saying postponement probably sounds the best thing to do. We've had to do something similar over here with the bare knuckle. I can't reveal too much details, but we've had to push ours back. We've had to postpone. Are people happy? No. The fighters get extra time to train? Yes. Does it allow time for the governments to put in reduced tiers or whatever, how your government's going to reduce like their restrictions, Charles? But it just gives you extra time.
Yeah, it gives us extra time, but at this, you know, we were anticipating this March card to be huge, which we started working on this back in November, December of last year. And we thought that the COVID shit would have been at least minimized and we would have some access from other governments. They made things worse for us. They literally made things worse because now it's not so much, like I said before, it's getting the boxers here. We'll take the hit of $6,000 to have them quarantine in their home country before they come here and then quarantine here for 10 days. We'll take that hit for about $6,000. But then to add 16,000 more on top of that to return them on a waiting list, not guaranteeing them to get home. This poor boxer's still in Vegas trying to get back to Australia since November.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even ultimately, like we have the best interest of fighters as some promoters are selfish and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the costs and everything got to be minimized because boxing at the end of the day is some form of business. It doesn't matter if the boxers get paid the majority, you've still got to have that pot for another productive card to go on next. And then henceforth, it's hard. It's a hard business. I just big props to you trying, Charles, during these times, you know what I mean? But we have got 3 minutes left. End on that, Charles, would you like to give a shout out to any of your sponsors or would you like to give a shout out to any of the union members?
Without a doubt, the entire board, I want to say thank you for the past 3 weeks. What I have put them through, they were better off serving 15 years in prison for what I put them through in the last. They have really taken a lot. I mean, I want to thank all our sponsors, new sponsors, NBO out there sponsoring a lot of the boxers, not giving us money, literally sponsoring the boxers. Then we got Smith Ankle Apparel, of course, sponsoring boxers, not sponsoring us, sponsoring the boxers individually. Best Western, American Airlines, Taco Bell, Papa John's, Neon Energy Drink, Chick-fil-A. These are all big sponsors that we have. And all the promoters and managers and commissioners that have been working with us for the past 3 weeks, just thank them all. Really, I can't thank them enough. They make me look good. I take all the shit, but they make me look good at times.
Collectively, Charles, you need to give yourself a pat on the back as well, man. You really do, because somebody's got to orchestrate it.
Pat on the back. Nepal was a good pat on the back.
Nathan, would you like to give a shout out to any of your sponsors for that?
Yeah, I just like, well, me, pending sponsors, because obviously still everything. So, yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to NuHempCBD, who I've already mentioned. Top quality stuff. It helps me sleep and helps with my anxiety. Fused Sport, who I had a phone call off 2 days ago. They've got my kit all printed out for me already, so
Brilliant.
I've just got to go pick that up. You know, new tracksuit, new training gear, all sparkly. And then also NutriBox, you help me with my nutrition. I've just got weight until I've passed the medicals. Obviously, pass the medicals straight back on the meals, and I will be dropping that much weight. You won't be able to see me. And finally, Hattons of London, who sell actually coins. So make their own coins. Yeah. So, Charles, if you know anyone in America who collects coins, tell them get in touch with Hattons of London. They've got some great deals on.
And yeah, let me the link. I'll shout it out. But I want to thank you two guys for inviting me here. I appreciate it, the invite. And Nathan, I always appreciate spending time.
Not a problem, Charles. Honestly, we're really grateful for your time. Nathan, we're grateful for your time, but unfortunately, we're running out of time. This has been the Bad Blood Podcast. As always, we are sponsored by Spartan BK FightClub, Mr. Bloom's Backseat Oil Mechanics,
ScotWest Shellfish, the Governor Sports and Nutrition, and Heathen Clothing.
Peace.
Talking now, attention. I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time,